Hello everyone, welcome back to another round of Tuesday Night Legacy. Tonight we've got 8 cast versus Goblin Charbelcher. On the left we have Connor playing an 8 cast list. This is the best blue aggro deck in the format, allowing you to draw a ton of cards with things like Thoughtcast and Thought Monitor, having that affinity and basically always paying 1 blue mana in order to draw 2 cards, because you're always going to have so many artifacts. So the deck floods the field with 0 or low cost artifacts and then drops something like a Kappa Cannoneer into play, and hopefully this guy will win you the game. If not, it's using Master Thopters to create a ton of Thopters and then turn all of those sideways and win the game with that. And on the right, we have Kelvin coming back from a few rounds ago to play his Goblin Charbelcher list once again. This is the deck that goes all in with the Storm strategy of either playing the Goblin Charbelcher and blowing out your opponent with upwards of 40 to 50 damage, or casting and Empty the Warrens after you've completely exhausted your hand, probably putting anywhere between 12 to 16 goblins in play on turn 1. So with all of that being said, let's go ahead and get into those games. All right, here we are, into the action. We have Connor playing, I guess this is turn 2, playing a Chalice of the Void on turn 1 after playing Urza Saga and Islands. So always a good idea. This is actually going to hurt Kelvin quite a bit. Shuts down his Tinder Walls. And a couple other things I'm probably not thinking of. Connor up to 2 Saga counters here. It looks like he's got another Urza Saga, which can get him a guy, but he decides to go for, what is that, Master Thopterist? Looks like it's making a token, a little flyer there, and doing the Urza's Bauble, looking at a card in Kelvin's hand. Oh, I guess I missed Kelvin's first turn. Looks like there's a bunch of goblins in play here. A land grant is going to find that taiga. And then we're going to Burning Wish. And we're going to get that Goblin Grenade that he had from that first game. Or the Goblin Warstrike, excuse me. Adding Goblin Warstrike to his hand. So this is setting up for the win here. Although, Chalice on 1. It's going to stop that Goblin Warstrike. Getting some boys in play here. Getting a Mox Opal out of the deck. There is exactly 3 artifacts in play. Can use the Mox Opal. So as long as we can cast some stuff and get some Thopters into play, it looks like Connor might have one more turn here. A Thoughtcast. Doesn't look like it helped. Little tough. Passes the turn. So with 6 goblins in play, that's exactly lethal. But he's got 2 blockers. The side, that's a 1/4. And that 1 Thopter that's in play. Turns it sideways. 2 blockers down to 2. Can't cast the Goblin Warstrike, because it'll just get countered. It looks like Connor's got a ton of stuff in his hand, but it's just not gonna deal with these goblins. Although now that he has 3 blockers in play, I think that's just enough. He might be going for a Shadowspear here, because that comes into play. And if he has 1 more mana, then he can equip it to one of his big constructs. I mean, those constructs are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 now. 5 5s. Oh, do you have the land? He does. Goes for equips. Puts it on. It becomes a 6/6. Oh, a 7/7 because of the land, the Seat of the Synod. 8/8, 9/9. Turns that sideways. It's got trample. Sends him up to 11. And I think, I don't think there's a way out of this for Kelvin. Unless he can combo into Charbelcher. He just passes the turn with his 4 goblins. But I think we've turned the corner here for Connor. And with Connor having a couple Force of Wills in hand, I feel like he has a commanding position in this game. Turning both of those guys sideways. One with trample, one without. Oh, turns them all sideways. So theoretically, Kelvin could 4-block on the side, but he decides not to. I think he would actually die. Just too much damage. Takes an aggressive amount of damage here. Down to 3. And that must be an Emery. Ooh, Kelvin saying he's not dead yet. Oh, it's a Charbelcher! But there's the Force of Will. Hooey! Wow. What a game. We are into game 2 here. So Kelvin did have the answer, even though he had run out of steam with those goblins. But, you know, playing against blue, they almost always have some form of Force of Will, Force of Negation days ready for you. Kelvin just dropping in a Lotus Petal. He has his Shatter Skull pass. 3 mana is going to get a Thought Cast with the mana reduction cost there. And Urza's Bauble is going to turn on the Mox Opal. Ooh, there's a Hydroblast in hand. I guess that's for one of the big mana ramp spells. Just passes the turn, keeping that Hydroblast open. A Manamorphose is going to filter some mana. Into another Manamorphose. Sometimes you just got to dig. There's that Desperate Ritual. Desperate Ritual getting 3 mana here. Almost never spliced into Arcane. Yeah, so we see the Seething Song, which would generate 5 extra red mana, and that's when Connor fires off the Hydroblast here to shut down that massive mana ramp. So with the Storm count at 4, but Kelvin's out of gas, he passes the turn. We see Shadowspear getting played into a big boy himself, the Kappa Cannoneer. So Kappa Cannoneer sees itself as it drops in, getting a +1/+1 counter, and then playing a Mox Opal, which is going to increase it a little bit more. What is that card? The Overmaster is what Kelvin played on his turn. Next instant or sorcery can't be countered. I think he was doing it just to draw a card. 2 mana from Connor is going to see the Shadowspear equipped to the Kappa Cannoneer. Playing another Mox Opal just to get another counter on that Cannoneer, which is going to crash in for just a ton of damage here. The Cannoneer itself is 4 damage, so it's an 8/8, it's a 9/9. With Trample and Lifelink. That's a gamble, I think, out of Kelvin's hand there. Trying to find a single card. Maybe he's looking for his Lion's Eye Diamond, sure. So Lion's Eye Diamond, if it's discarded, is a bad time, but I think he's got the Echo of Eons in his hand as well. So we're really hoping here that we just don't hit the one of Lion's Eye Diamond in the hand. And instead it hits the Empty the Warrens. So Lion's Eye Diamond getting cast. Probably going to crack it right here. Oh, after some mana. So 1 red, 1 green off of these 2 Spirit Guides. How come we don't have a blue Spirit Guide? Or a white Spirit Guide? Going to try an Echo, but that's going to catch a Force of Will, discarding the entire hand. So Kelvin is, conceding the game as he has absolutely no gas left and the Kappa Cannoneer on board. So Connor takes it 2-0. So as we saw that game, although Charbelcher can be very strong and has an almost tunnel vision-like strategy of winning the game by itself, any kind of interaction like a force of will can often disrupt it to the point that it just can't come back and allows for the blue deck to win the game. Thanks as always for stopping by. If this is your first time here, consider subscribing to the channel and throwing us a like. And we always want to thank Spellhold Games and Collector Legion for allowing us to record in their play space. If you are looking for any of these deck lists that you saw in the video, they are always in the description of this video. And if you're looking for that visual deck list, it's over at the Tuesday Night Legacy Instagram. And I think that's going to do it for us this time. As always, I am Eugene, and this is Tuesday Night Legacy. We'll see you next time.